In Karibuni to Aroma of Zanzibar. Today we're going to make this beautiful giant cupcake for all time's sake. And for this, I have decided to use a Victoria sponge recipe. It goes very well with this deep dish cake. Okay, so I have some self-raising flour here with some baking powder, sugar, eggs, butter, vanilla, and some orange zest I'm going to be using. Or you can use lemon if you want, or you don't have to use any. So my butter is soft. You want it in room temperature, so I'm just going to break it down before I add the sugar. And I'm starting high on this. So just gradually add the sugar. And I'm basically looking for a mixture that is, my batter should be like very light and fluffy. So this should take about 5 to 8 minutes. I'm using speed 4 on this mixer. Okay. So once I've reached that, I'm adding the zest. Like I say, you don't have to do the zest if you don't want, but it goes very well with the Victoria sponge or even Madeira cake if you want. Sorry, I'm diverting. Okay, so I'm going to add the eggs now one at a time. Now after every addition of one egg, I'm going to add a tablespoon of flour. This will prevent the batter from curdling. So I've got 6 eggs here, so I'm going to go ahead and do 6 tablespoons of flour. And if you feel that you need more, just go ahead and do more. Okay, but not too much. Okay, maybe 2 tablespoons will be extra. Okay, so now once my eggs are already in, just stop the mixer and scrape till the bottom to make sure that everything is well incorporated. Okay, and then you can do any flavoring that you want. Add, I guess, almond. I prefer to use vanilla for this particular cake. Okay, this batter looks very dense, but it's a very soft cake. It's because of the technique that we use to make this particular cake. Excuse me. Okay, so once that's done, once my vanilla is well combined, I'm going to start with the flour. And I've sifted my flour usually I do it 3 times. So I've done 2 times already, and I'm going to do the 3rd time right here, adding straight to the batter. Okay, so I'm doing a little bit at a time. So this should be about, I think about 4 to 5 additions or installments. Okay, so yeah, you just want to fold it in because you don't want to remove the air. There's not too much of it, but we want to keep whatever we have created. Okay, so I'm doing about a half a cup or maybe 3/4 of a cup. I haven't measured it. Just eyeball it and go ahead and do it. Now this cake, I've chosen this particular cake for this dish, this baking pan. I should have shown you the pan before I started. And it's because it's very soft inside. I have tried so many recipes which didn't work. And it was the cakes were very, very, very hard. And there are a lot of recipes people do, with the cake box mixes, and I don't like to use those. So after researching, and I found out that the Victoria sponge goes very well with this baking pan. Okay, it gives you the results that you're looking for. It's hard from outside, but it's very, very soft inside. It's spongy. That's why it's called the Victoria sponge. And this is for all time's sake. It was a big craze 3 years ago. Okay, so now I'm going to add my batter. And for this deep baking pan, you want to bake it in a low, 25 Fahrenheit lower than the usual. Okay, if you're using an 8-inch, then you can do 350, but I'm cutting this down to 325, and it's going to bake for about 1 hour and a half. Once you reach 1 hour, then you want to check it out. It depends on the heat on your oven. Okay, and so we're doing about 3 cups batter on the bigger one and the 2.5 on the top one. Okay, I'm sorry, I was talking too much. Now my cake is ready, and I put it on the lower rack, okay, so that it doesn't get burnt on the top. Okay, So this is ready. I'm just waiting for it to cool, and then I'm going to flip it and take it out. You can see it's nice and soft. Okay, so I'm going to trim the cake because I'm going to use a mold that I have prepared the video, and I'm sure you're going to love it. And so we're just going to trim the top, and we're going to trim the sides, basically scrape the sides, and that will also help the cake fit into the mold. See, it's very soft inside. Okay, so we're going to scrape the sides so that it can fit in very well into the mold, and also take out all these dry crumbs. Okay, like I say, this cake was very, very famous. It was the in thing about 3-4 years ago when I started, cake decorating. I used to bake, but I've never really got into cake decorating, and this is one of the cakes that really, really attracted me into starting to decorate cakes. So if you Google, you'll find a lot of designs on this, and it will blow your mind. You can okay, now you can split this into half and add icing in between, but that will make your cake larger than the mold that I'm going to share with you later. Okay, so I'm just going to crumb coat the cake with the frosting. This is I'm using my American buttercream recipe here. I just had some leftover buttercream that I wanted to use, and this cake is very sweet and very nice. It doesn't really need a lot of icing. Okay, so I really didn't have to make this cake for anybody. I wanted to do this because I wanted to do this video. I had done this video about 3 years ago, and I wanted to do it again. That's why I call it for all time's sake. Okay, because I know there are still people out there, they're just learning how to do this. And it's a beautiful cake, for Mother's Day, for if you're having a simple birthday party at home. It's just perfect. It looks small, but since it's deep, it's tall, so the pieces are quite big. It serves, they say, about 16 portions of cake. Okay, so now I'm just smoothing my buttercream and getting ready to put this in my case. Okay, so I have made 2 cases. One was purple. This is, I was trying to do an ombre. And I have another one that's plain. And I'll upload the video shortly. Okay, so now you just add the cream on the top, the icing or the buttercream, the frosting. Different people call it different names. Okay, so I'm just using vanilla here. Like I said, it was a leftover buttercream that I just wanted to make use of it. Okay, so, yep. And now we are going to scrap the top too. Now this has a lot of crumbs, so you want to make sure that you really clean your area once you're done with this before you start working on your cake. That's why I'm using the cookie racks, so that all my crumbs just go down at the bottom and I don't have to deal with them much. But it does have a lot of crumbs. It looks very dry. Like I said, it's because of the deep pan. It cooks longer, and the top part is very small, so it cooks faster than the other part of the cake. Okay, so yeah, this is perfect. And I'm also going to trim the bottom of the top of the cake so that it fits the other part of my cake, and it's actually splitting off. It's so soft. That's how soft it is. Okay, as you can see, it's spongy. Okay, now we're going to place this on the top. Then you press it hard so it's nice and secure. And, yeah. And then I'm gonna put my cream here, my buttercream, crumb coat. As you can see, the crumbs, my icing, my buttercream is almost gonna be brown color. Okay. And yeah, and it's very nice to do this with a case, because as you can see, it's very difficult to hold to carry the cake. It's small, but it's you want to do the case because it's presentable, it's easy to carry, and there are not many boxes around where you can fit in this cake. So if you're not going anywhere, or if you're just going to a close family member, you can just carry it like that. Okay, so now we're just gonna add the cream, the buttercream, like I say. And then you can decorate this anyhow you like it. You can do buttercream, and then, you need the base, buttercream for the base, but fondant or whatever you want to do. Okay, then I'm just going to keep this in the fridge for about 20 minutes to let it set before I start decorating this. And just remove the excess. Okay, so now my cake is ready, and I've got these roses that I've done them ahead of time. I didn't show you the video because just because. I'll do next time. All right, so I'm making putting I don't know what you call it. It's like this is basically to get my roses to set when I place them, because this is like a shape of a cone. It's not a straight shape, so I don't want them to fall. And they're frozen, so it's easy for me to place them and position them, wherever I want, take them out. And you can do rosettes. Actually, when this started, the rosette was the in thing. I have also done, I think, about 4 or 5 rosettes in this. You can pipe these roses straight away if you can, or any other flowers, or you can do fondant. If you Google out there, like I say, there are so many designs on this cake. It will just blow your mind. Okay, so my roses are here, as you can see, and I'm just going to place them. See, they fit in so perfectly, so easily. And when you're ready to serve the cake, you just keep it on the room temperature, depending how cold or how hot where you at, and then the roses will kind of get into the same temperature as the rest of the cake, and that's when actually they would really stick in very easily. Get really secure on your cake. Okay. And I love my roses. I'm still practicing to get the perfect roses. That's probably the reason why I didn't show you the video. I'm not lying. Okay, so I'm done with the roses here, and I'm ready to do the flowers. I don't know what is the name of this flower. I think it's daisy. I'm very bad with flowers. I love flowers, but unfortunately I do not know their names, and this is why I find it so difficult when I want to learn, to find a tutorial. I have no idea so I have to go and check every flower before I can figure out the name and learn how to do it, but I'm getting there. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I have really enjoyed doing this. After so long, I wanted to do the giant cupcake. I just love it. It's so beautiful. Well, for more recipes, please visit me at Aroma of Zanzibar, and thank you very much.